Good evening. Please stand and remain standing for the presentation of colors by our Air Force Junior ROTC cadets. Pledge of Allegiance led by Rayan Rodriguez, followed by the national anthem sung by Maria Moreno, and the reflection read by Briella Morales.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Oh, say can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleam, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Father God, I thank you for bringing us all here today. I thank you for allowing us to get through all these long years of education. And I pray that you continue to give us the strength to pursue our careers in your name. Father, I pray that when we fall in the future, we know that you're always there to pick us back up. I pray that throughout these next years, we build a close relationship with you and that we glorify you in everything we do. I pray that no matter the distance, we always have some form of communication with our loved ones. Most importantly, I pray that you lead us down the right paths in our lives and help us do everything according to your plan. Father, I sincerely thank you for giving us the lives we have and allowing us the opportunity to walk this stage today. Please help us continue to strive to be our best and do it all for your glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, students. You may now be seated. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, Superintendent of Schools, and the Pearsall High School faculty and staff, I would like to welcome you to our 2017 commencement exercises. My name is Varghese Panchakune. I am the principal of Pearsall High School. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our distinguished guest. Beginning with the Pearsall Board of Trustees, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Please hold your applause until all names are called. President, Mr. Marco Reyes. Vice President, Ms. Luisa Martinez. Secretary, Ms. Sandra Waldron. Board Member, Mrs. Rochelle Camacho. Board Member, Mr. Lionel Gandara. Board Member, Mr. Eric Fletcher. Board Member, Mr. Tommy Navarro. Thank you. You may be seated. May I now introduce our other distinguished guests. Again, please stand and remain standing. And again, please hold your applause until all names have been read. Pearsall Independent School District Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Norbert Rodriguez. Honored guest speaker, Mr. Manuel Bereles, Attorney at Law. Professional Service Provider, Dr. Jacqueline Carbon. Director of Human Services and Student Resources, Mrs. Sonia Martinez. Coordinator of Federal and Special Program, Mrs. Brandy Feldhausen. Director of Special Education, Mr. Jim Hanks. Director of Technology, Mr. Jesse Hinojosa. Director of Athletics, Coach David Silva. Director of Bands, Mr. Humberto Sanchez. PISD Police Department Chief, Chief Chris Marquez. Pearsall Independent School, Pearsall Intermediate School Principal, Mrs. Juliana Lingo. Ted Flores Elementary Principal, Mrs. Sylvia Lozano Martinez. Pearsall High School Assistant Principal, Mrs. Linda Chavera and Mr. Murali Ovedi. Pearsall High School Counselor, Mrs. Mitzi Rodriguez and Ms. Victoria Wilbo. Thank you for your applause, and you may be seated. At this time, I would like to invite PISD School Board Member, Mr. Tommy Navarro, to introduce our Chief Guest Speaker, Mr. Manuel Bereles.
Good evening. Our distinguished speaker this evening is originally from your very own Pearsall, Texas. He attended public schools at Pearsall ISD, the elementary campus where he graduated from in 1984 as a kindergarten. Was named after his great-grandfather, the late Mr. Teodoro Ted Flores, which we now know as TFE. During his early years in public school, his mother, Gloria, who I dearly respect and love, who is an elementary teacher that PISD had the honor to have teach for a number of years. She instilled in him the importance of gaining an education through the values of hard work and dedication. Our speaker was once a mighty maverick quarterback who plays after plays I received handouts and passes from. He was a salutatorian of our senior class, proud class of 1996. He was a four-sport letterman in football, basketball, baseball, and track. Not only was he my teammate, he was and is one of my best friends all through school. To this day, I see and love as a brother. Boy, do we have stories to tell our kids, don't we, Coach Waldron? His dreams of attending an Ivy League school began while we were in junior high. During his high school years, he was recruited by Yale University and was offered a scholarship based on his grades, where he also played football. During his years at Yale University, his father, Manuel Jr., whom also I dearly respect and love, encouraged him to outwork his competition. In 2000, he graduated with honors with a Bachelor of Arts degree in history from Yale University. Soon afterwards, he returned to Pearsall and married Carmen Aleman at the First United Methodist Church, and the reception was at our very own legendary Wish and Well Club. Being the best man at his wedding, I clearly remember like yesterday. She is also a Pearsall Independent School District graduate of class of 1995. She is the daughter of one of the most well-known band directors in the state of Texas, Daniel Aleman. Her first year out of college and first year teaching was at her very own Pearsall Independent School District junior high campus, where she taught 7th grade science and was a pep squad sponsor. In 2002, the couple moved to New Haven, Connecticut, where he attended Yale Law School and graduated with his law degree in 2005. Currently, our speaker is a partner at Vinson & Elkins Law Firm in Dallas, Texas. He is a business litigator in regulatory investigations. As a lawyer, he has been recognized as a Super Lawyers Rising Star since 2014. In 2015, the magazine Texas Lawyer named him one of the 20 extraordinary minority lawyers in Texas. Recently, he was featured as the cover story for the Super Lawyers magazine in an article titled "Far from Pearsall: How He Worked His Way from His Hometown to Yale to Dallas." He and his wife have 2 children, Taliana, age 8, and Teodoro, age 5, who are present here with us. He is involved with his children by coaching their soccer and baseball teams. He also serves on numerous boards to give back to the community of Dallas. As we all know our motto, once a maverick, always a maverick. With no further ado, and a great honor, please join me in giving our speaker a welcome home, Attorney at Law Manuel G. Bereles III.
Thank you, Tommy, for that very kind introduction. I will admit it feels good to be home. Good evening, Superintendent Rodriguez, Mr. V, members of the School Board of Trustees, Pearsall ISD faculty, administrators, and staff. Good evening to the parents, family, and friends of these students assembled here tonight, and to the community of Pearsall, who are here to show their support and encouragement for this graduating class. Most of all, good evening to the Pearsall High School class of 2017. Congratulations on reaching this important milestone, your high school graduation, and thank you for allowing me the honor to be a part of it. Before I address you and your classmates, I want to thank a few people up here on the stage with me who had a hand in my return to this wonderful town that was my home for 18 years. To Dr. Rodriguez, who was my very first football coach back in 7th grade, my sincerest thanks to you for inviting me back to this community to speak on this momentous occasion. As you know from the introduction that Tommy just gave, I now live in Dallas with my wife, Carmen, who's another Pearsall graduate from the class of 1995. And our two children, as he mentioned, are here with us tonight, Taliana and Deodoro. My roots and my family's roots run deep in this town. This was my home until I was 18, and I'm humbled that you thought of me to return for this celebration. It's also great to see so many familiar faces up here tonight, including my very first coach ever, Sandra Waldron, or Coach Waldron, as we called her when we were students at the intermediate campus. Thank you for sharing the article with Dr. Rodriguez, and thanks to all of the Pearsall ISD trustees, especially my classmate and great friend, Tommy Navarro, for trusting me to share this time with your students. I will say, Tommy, it makes me very proud to see you standing on this stage alongside your fellow trustees. Thanks to all of you on the board for serving your community and for serving the students of Pearsall with your time and your energy and your ideas. Pearsall graduates, it truly is an honor to be standing here before you. The last time I stepped on this field was 21 years ago, on a Friday night just like this in May of 1996. Tommy and I played football on this field for 6 years before that. Had a lot of fun doing that. But the last time we were on this field together, we and our classmates sat exactly where you're sitting. Actually, that's not true. We sat on the other side of the field because the home stands were on that side, facing into the sun. This is much better. So we were here 21 years ago. I don't know about you, Tommy, but it doesn't feel like it's been 21 years. I'm sure everyone who knew us then thinks that we look exactly the same. Just like each of you tonight, there were so many events and people and choices that led me and Tommy and the rest of our classmates to the very moment that each of you is about to commence. And like it or not, you are about to start writing the next chapter of your own life. And I want to let that sink in just a bit, because it's really the main point I want to share with you tonight. I know you're all anxious to walk across the stage, but I want you to consider and think about this idea with me before you leave the stadium tonight. And if you'll keep in mind that I also grew up in this town, that Pearsall High School is my high school, and that I've sat where you're sitting on this field, anxiously waiting for the next chapter of my life to start too. If you'll keep all of that in mind, I think you'll see that there is not a whole lot of difference between you, where you sit, and me, where I stand. I think Tommy and Carmen and all of the other Pearsall graduates and parents here tonight on the stage and out in the audience will all agree, like Tommy just said, once a Maverick, always a Maverick. I believe that. I believed that when I was in your shoes, in your seats, and I believe that tonight. So let's start with how you got here. Whether you realize it or not, there are inspiring stories of family and friends all around you tonight who were key to your success and who were there for you when you fell short of your goals. In this audience, there are dedicated parents who have worried about you. There are hardworking parents who have sacrificed more than you may ever know to give you the opportunities to succeed. And trust me, there are excited and tired parents here who did everything they could for years and years so that nothing would stand in the way of this night. This is all true of my own parents who are here with us tonight, and I know it's true of yours. And by the way, happy birthday, Dad. You're out there somewhere, and today's your birthday, so happy birthday. Selfless to the end, he drove down to Pearsall for the weekend to be here tonight, so thanks, Dad. In this audience, there are also grandparents, great-grandparents, and aunts and uncles who supported and watched over you when your parents could not. There are brothers and sisters and cousins, even neighbors who were there for you in good times and in bad. And in this audience, there are loved ones who have always wished the best for you and who have never doubted that you would reach this night. So in truth, the beginning of your education started long before you entered the halls. So before we celebrate the graduates, let's celebrate all of the loved ones behind the graduates. With the family and friends of the class of 2017, please stand, please rise, so that all of us, and especially these graduates on this field, can honor and thank you for helping them reach this goal. After my phone call with Dr. Rodriguez a few months ago, when he invited me here tonight, I started thinking about my time at Pearsall High School, and so many memories rushed to my mind. Memories of playing baseball on that field behind me back there. Memories of marching band contests and the state finals with both Mr. Alemans. Memories of Friday Night Lights. Memories of my teachers, my friends in class, especially my teachers, some of whom are still teaching here today. I noticed Cap is still here, sitting there in the front row. Mr. Zapp was my calculus teacher, one of the best, and I hear he's retiring in a few days. Congratulations on your I also have memories of Mary Benavides sitting at her desk, running the school. Some things never change. But while those memories are cherished, I want to remind you of something that I mentioned to the class of 2007, which is the last time I was in Pearsall to talk to a graduating class. None of you really chose to be a Pearsall graduate. For the last 12 years of your life, from about 8 in the morning to at least 3 in the afternoon, and sometimes later than that, you've been under the control and supervision of a school district. Every day, you woke up during each of those school years, you looked forward to seeing your friends at school, you sat in class, and hopefully you got educated. I think most of you did. I think all of you did. You participated in your school activities. But from the time you were about 5 or 6 years old, the state of Texas required you to attend school. You didn't have a choice. Your friends were kids who grew up in Pearsall because those were the kids you went to school with. In fact, most of you really didn't have a choice about going to Pearsall High School. You're all sitting here, as I was sitting there 21 years ago, because your parents and your family decided to live in or near this town. And since you lived here, Texas law, public school laws required you to go to school here. But after tonight, after you walk off this field with your diplomas, later tonight, the great state of Texas will no longer require that your parents send you to Pearsall schools, or that you continue going to school at all. Tonight, the state of Texas says to each of you, congratulations. You've completed all of the requirements to graduate. Here's a piece of paper that proves you've met those requirements. Now, good luck in the real world. So now what? Well, I think for the first time in your lives, that is entirely up to each of you. Let me say that again. What happens next, what happens after tonight, is entirely up to you. Every decision you make from here on out, from the smallest and most inconsequential day-to-day decisions to the biggest life-altering decisions about your career and where you're going to live and where you're going to raise your family and what job you're going to have, you will ultimately be responsible for each of those decisions. Now, will you still have your parents or family or friends to give you guidance and input? Sure, absolutely, and I hope you reach out to all of them. But the final decisions are yours. You've finally earned the right to do what you... Hello? Let me share a quick story with you that I told the class of 2007 on this point, because I think it will help you see just how important this new responsibility is. When I graduated from law school at Yale in 2005, 12 years ago, the dean of the law school had some closing remarks for my graduating class. We were all sitting in the law school courtyard in our caps and gowns, just like you're sitting here tonight. And the dean looked at it. Well, he was telling us how proud he was of our accomplishments and how excited he was for us to begin our new legal careers. And so just as we were feeling pretty good about ourselves, having graduated from law school, he looked at us with a very serious expression and he said, "Graduates of the class of 2005, what will you do with the tools you've been given? What will be your place in history?" My place in history? I remember thinking vividly at the time, we haven't even been given our diplomas, and this guy wants me to think about what my place will be in history? We waited for an answer, but he didn't answer that question. He just left it there. He let it linger. A dozen years later, I think I know what he meant. And I was thinking about what I could share with you about your future, about the possibilities that lie ahead for you, about what's possible in this world for you, about and the challenges that lie ahead. And I think this is actually a great question to pose to graduates of high school. What will be your place in history? The law school dean was asking us if we thought we'd be famous or in a history book someday. Not at all. He was asking, just as you sit there on your graduation night, how do you expect to live the rest of What decisions will you make from one day to the next, and how will people remember you for making them? What will you make of yourself? What will you do next? Not what will you think about doing, or what might you do, but what will you actually do with the rest of your life? In 2017, the possibilities are endless. We've just seen the first African-American president and his family spend 8 years in the White House. Whether you agreed with his policies or his politics or not, and whether you voted for him or not, there is no denying how remarkable of an achievement his presidency was in the context of American history. A nation that once enshrined slavery into the Constitution until the Civil War elected a black man as president. It's a testament, I think, to the opportunities presented by our uniquely American democracy and free market economy that Americans would elect an African-American president, not once, but twice. And let's not forget about Hillary Clinton. Although she did not win the election, more Americans voted for a woman to be president in 2016 than they did for Donald Trump. In fact, I think that during your lifetime, and certainly during my children's lifetime, I think we're going to see both a woman and a Hispanic American elected as president of the United States. This is the world of opportunity that each of you is inheriting. You get to write your own chapters in this world, and you should be thrilled about that. Because in earlier times, the question of your place in history could be answered pretty easily. For example, imagine with me for a moment that you were graduating tonight, but not as the class of 2017, but as the class of 1917. Take yourself back 100 years with me for just a moment. If you looked around at all the young ladies in your class tonight, they'd probably make up about half of the class. Of the ladies, how many of you are either going to college, thinking about college, or someday would like to go to college? I see you raise the hands. If this was 1917, you probably wouldn't be able to go, even if you wanted to. Because most colleges 100 years ago didn't allow women to attend. In fact, my own college, Yale, did not allow women until 1969. So if we were sitting here in 1917 or even 1967, you ladies would know that your place in history, at least, was something other than going to college. The same goes for those of you who are Hispanic or Latino. 100 years ago, or even 50 years ago, you probably would have attended poor quality segregated elementary schools for Hispanics only, and you probably would not have been able to go to college either. Your opportunities as Hispanics that long ago would have been very limited, simply because you were not white. Fortunately, we are in 2017, and the outlook for each of you is very bright. So maybe you're asking, well, why are you talking about 1917 then? Here's why. I think it's important to give you an idea of where we are in history. It gives you an idea of just how much has changed in this country since your great-grandparents, your grandparents, and even your parents were your age. I want you to appreciate the incredible opportunities that lie before you tonight. Times have changed in this country of ours, and they've changed over the last 100 years, they've changed over the last 50 years, they've even changed since Tommy and I were sitting out there where you are tonight. Anyone who has studied American history, as I did in college, knows that from the time this country was founded in 1776, this has been a country built on defiance of the odds, on a belief in a dream. Throughout our nation's history, immigrants, that is all of our ancestors, came from Europe, from Asia, from Mexico and Latin America, all seeking to make a better life for themselves and their families, for us. Your ancestors, and many people like them, settled across this nation, even here in Pearsall, Texas, to try and build their own American dream. And of course, the dream never moved forward perfectly. The American dream, as we all know, as you've all learned in your history classes, was betrayed by slavery. It was scarred by discrimination against women, against African Americans, against Hispanics, and other minorities. The American dream has been shaken even by a civil war, 2 world wars, a Great Depression, and even most recently, in the last decade, a Great Recession. And yet, despite all these struggles, people like your parents, your grandparents, your great-grandparents, they all kept dreaming and building and working together until they made America a place where the question of our place in history, your place in history, is not answered for us. In our America, in 2017, you answer your own place in history. You get to decide what you'll do with the rest of your life. And the rest of your life starts now. But you have to make it happen. You must do what needs to be done with your next steps, whether it's in college, junior college, in your career. What happens next is not up to me. It's not up to anyone sitting up here on this platform. It's not up to your teachers or anyone sitting in the audience. Everyone gathered here tonight has given you the tools to decide your place in history, to decide what you'll make of your life. So let's talk about that for a minute. I'm going to ask you some questions that I asked the class of 2007. How many of you have said to yourself, I wish my parents would get off my case. Wish my parents would leave me alone. I wish my teachers, my band directors, my coaches would just let me do it my way. I wish I had some independence. How many of you have said this or thought this to yourself? My guess is all of you. Well, guess what? That time is here. That time starts now. You get to decide the best way to achieve your goals. Long-term goals, short-term goals. Only then can you start writing your next chapter. Now, I am not going to pretend that I have the answers to those questions of how you're going to write the next chapter in your life. I don't. Each of you will have to set your own goals and decide what you're going to do to achieve them. But I think I can offer a few suggestions that may be useful. First, don't be afraid of the unknown, and don't be afraid to take risks. When I left Pearsall for college in Connecticut, and when Carmen left college for Southwestern, neither of us knew how it would turn out. Like it, if we were prepared for it, or whether we'd be too homesick to even stay. But we never would have known had we not given it a shot. When you have an opportunity to try something new or unknown, don't be afraid to grab that opportunity. My second piece of advice is to remember your roots here in Pearsall. As I was preparing to leave for college, I remember my mother telling me, don't forget where you came from. Be proud of who you are. Don't let anyone convince you that you don't deserve to be there at Yale. I'm not sure I really understood what she meant at the time, but it has become more clear over the years. Your family, this graduating class, this town, and this community will always be a part of who you are. Whether you like it or not, whether you admit it to yourself or not, you will view and you will experience everything that life throws your way from the perspective of someone who grew up in Pearsall, Texas. And you should be proud of that. I'm proud to be from Pearsall. I found it a little ironic that the author of that cover story that Tommy mentioned titled it Far From Pearsall. Because although I went to college far from Pearsall and I now live far from Pearsall, I hold this community very close to my heart. This town has played an important role in making me who I am. The people in this town have played an important role. My experience growing up here has influenced how I think, and it will influence how you think. So be proud of your roots. You will grow with age. You will learn so much from other friends and coworkers in the future who are not from Pearsall, but you'll always be who you are in this moment right now. Third, take pride in everything you do and do it as best as you can. For the athletes and band members in the class, this will be a life lesson you've probably heard before. I'm sure your teachers have emphasized this lesson to all of you in the classroom. And it's an important takeaway. Strive for excellence. Compete to win. But also treat people with respect. Take pride in your community, wherever you wind up. Each of you has the tools that you need to mark your place in history. And I think all of that starts with taking pride in everything you do. My great-grandfather is a perfect example. He didn't graduate from high school like you will tonight. In fact, he only went to school for a year or two in Derby. But he lived a long life of service to this community, and he took pride in everything he did. For 44 years, from 1933 to 1977, my great-grandfather was the school district's groundskeeper, plumber, electrician, mechanic, head maintenance man. He was also in charge of maintaining the sports fields, including this football field. And eventually he was put in charge of overseeing all of the district's grounds and facilities. He worked hard every day to keep those fields and campuses as green and clean as he could. And he did it because he wanted the students, probably some of your parents, maybe even some of your grandparents, to have the best facilities in South Texas. When he was alive, he told my dad that he took great pride in lining the sports fields with chalk before each game. Maybe people didn't notice, but when he finished lining those fields, he knew they were the best looking fields in the state. It certainly wasn't the most glamorous job, but he took pride in what he did, and he did it that way because he cared about the students. One of his most long-lasting contributions was that he was constantly encouraging young students to stay in school and get a good education. Unlike us, my great-grandfather didn't have the opportunity to go to college or pursue other dreams. But guess what? He marked his place in history. He impacted people. His name's on the school where many of you began your education 12 years ago. The name on that school honors the fact that he took pride in everything he did, even though he never had the opportunity to sit where you're sitting. Carmen and I named our own son, Teodoro, after my great-grandfather, in part to honor that legacy. And finally, my last piece of advice. Be thankful for what you have. Stay amazed and be humble. Be thankful for the doors that generations before you have opened. Stay amazed at how fortunate you are to be starting your adult life in this great country of ours in 2017. And in everything you do, in all of your accomplishments, and in your achievements, and when you fall short, be humble. I think many people in the world look at America today and look at people of your generation and all the challenges we face, and I think some feel like our country is moving backwards. I disagree. I think they're ignoring the incredible journey that you're each about to begin. They're ignoring the chapters of the great American story that you are going to write next. And they're ignoring that your chapters are going to build on so many of the amazing life stories that others from Pearsall and across the country have written before you. This country, where a young migrant cotton picker from Georgetown, Texas, grew up to become one of the most successful band directors in the history of the state of Texas. His name is on your band hall. This country, where a poor Mexican-American man with a first-grade education who spent decades preparing this field for Friday night games went on to have an elementary school named after him. This country, where the son of a migrant worker and a public school teacher can dream to go to Yale, dream to be a lawyer, and go out and make those dreams a reality. You are very fortunate to be at the start of this journey. And believe me, your determination will be tested. You won't always succeed. Sometimes the chapter you're writing won't always go as you planned. But when that happens, remember, generations of students who have come before you faced the similar fears, similar uncertainties in their own time, and they all kept moving forward, gave it their all, did the best they could. Beginning tonight and for the rest of your lives, as you set out to write your own stories of successes and achievements, and I hope there are many, you have what many people all over the world do not have: opportunity. Each of you has the opportunity to pursue whatever goals you set, whatever dreams you dream, whatever happiness you hope to achieve. As for your place in history, well, that's entirely up to you. You have the tools to achieve great things, thanks to your parents, your teachers, this community, and your possibilities are endless. Now you just have to get to work and start writing that next chapter. Congratulations, class of 2017, on this wonderful achievement. I extend to you all my best wishes for happiness and success in all of your future endeavors. We all look forward to reading your life stories. Thank you very much, Pearsall.
Virginia Thompson was 11th.
Test.
Thank you, Mr. Gowser. Virginia Thompson was a beloved teacher in Pearsall ISD. In recognition of her years of service, a foundation has been created in her honor. The foundation has granted monetary grants to students and teachers of the year from each of our 4 campuses. Students and teachers, please stand when I call your name. Student Scholarship Recipients: Melissa Espinosa, Noah Fletcher, Andrea Rodriguez, Laura Tolson, Teachers of the Year, Mrs. Dora Mata Rodriguez, Pearsall High School. Mrs. Vanessa Benavides Martinez, Pearsall Junior High School. Mr. Jason Hitt, Pearsall Intermediate. Mrs. Lauren Morgan, Ted Flores Elementary. Thank you, students and teachers. Please be seated. At this time, Pearsall High School Assistant Principals, Mr. Murali Ovedi and Ms. Linda Chavera, will recognize the top 10% honor graduates and the dual credit honor recipients.
It is a great pleasure and honor to introduce the 2017 top 10% honor graduate candidates of Pearsall High School. Each of these students are wearing a white cord and a medal. In order to achieve this accomplishment, the students have attained the top 10% highest weighted average in high school. Graduating in the top 10% qualifies these students to be admitted to any academic teaching institution in the state of Texas. Students, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing. Victor Varial, valedictorian. Janisha Patel, salutatorian. Ashley Peralta. Marcos Revilla. Lisette Rodriguez. Kimberly Rios. Ryan Rodriguez. Briella Morales. Miranda Benavides. Joshua Pollock. Mariah Moreno. Andrea Gonzalez Rodriguez. Kayla Elizondo. Noah Fletcher. Congratulations, students. Please be seated.
Good evening. This award is for students that are graduating with 18 or more college hours and transferable college credits from Southwest Texas Junior College or Coastal Bend College. They are wearing a multicolored cord. Students, as I call your name, please stand and remain standing until all names are called. Aliyah Carvajal, 21 hours. Kayla Elizondo, 18 hours. Alyssa Fenton, 21 hours. Clarissa Garza, 18 hours. Ruben Hernandez, 18 hours. Jamie Leal, 21 hours. Sanaida Luna, 18 hours. Steven Maldonado, 28 hours. Briella Morales, 24 hours. Janisha Patel, 24 hours. Joshua Pollock, 21 hours. Ashley Peralta, 18 hours. Dylan Ramirez, 21 hours. Marcos Revilla, 21 hours. Kimberly Rios, 18 hours. Lisette Rodriguez, 36 hours. Ryan Rodriguez, 18 hours. Sol Rodriguez, 28 hours. Benjamin Stewart, 21 hours. Victor Villarreal, 28 hours. Congratulations, students. Please be seated.
And now, salutatory Ms. Janisha Patel will give her salutatory address.
Good evening, families and friends, faculty and staff, and last but not least, my fellow classmates. This is the day many of us have anxiously been waiting for, graduation day. Congratulations to Pearsall's class of 2017. As salutatorian, I personally thank you for giving me the honor to speak today. Reflecting over the past 4 years of high school, we have gone through the Hunger Games and back. Tears shed, frustration thrown, relationships broken, but overall, we learned a lesson from it. A lesson that we can always overcome any obstacles thrown at us and move forward to success, such as trying to figure out the school's Wi-Fi password. All in all, we have had great memories and laughs together, starting from when we were chasing each other during recess in elementary, all the way through today as we walk the stage to our future. Additionally, I would like to thank the people who have impacted our lives immensely, our family, friends, and teachers. Thank you for nurturing and leading us to the path of success and triumph. Here comes the waterworks. I already see my mother crying in the track. I personally want to give a huge thank you to my parents, Naina and Bimo Patel. I am actually glad because without my parents' constant nagging to wake up early in the morning, focus on bettering my grades, and doing my homework on time, I would not be the person I am today. I am truly blessed to have such an amazing support system. Also, thank you to my mentor, Ms. Adrienne Ramirez, for the constant support during our senior year. I still recall the tears of joy you shed the day I clicked submit to my first college application. Lastly, a quick shout out to my little brother Neely for always keeping me on my toes and being my servant by doing my chores when I was loaded with homework. As I end my speech, I would like to say that it has been a long, well-earned ride that I have shared with each and every one of you. Cliche as it sounds, we are now on to the next chapter of our life. This is the chapter of our life where we will prosper into a successful individual, learning from the adventures and experience we have taken on. My boy, Steve Jobs, once said, "Your work is going to fill a large part of your life, and the only way to be truly satisfied is to do what you believe is great. And the only way to do great work is to love what you do." If you haven't found it yet, keep looking. Don't settle, as with all matters of the heart, you'll know when you find it. With that being said, my fellow classmates, let's go make glorious and fantastic mistakes and leave a mark on this world.
And now, our valedictorian, Mr. Victor Villarreal, will give his valedictorian address.
Good evening to parents, family, friends, administration, and to all of the graduating class of 2017. Le queremos dar las buenas tardes, bueno ya casi noches, a todos los que están aquí presentes. Les agradecemos su presencia aquí. This is a very important night for all of us here because something huge, algo bien grande, está enfrente de nosotros. It lies in our future, which is our future, I'm sorry. As we embark on our journey in life, and everyone here will take different paths. Speaking to some of y'all, my classmates, some are going into the medical field, others are going into the law, others engineers, others carpenters going into construction, and many others going straight into the workforce. Muchos aquí van a hacer diferentes trabajos, van a ser abogados, ingenieros, todo tipo de trabajos. Pero, ¿por qué queremos hacer esto? Why do we want to do this? Why are we going into the medical field, into construction, doing whatever we want? Because we're seeking happiness. We want to be happy in our lives. Queremos ser felices. Entonces, at this point in our lives, we have discussed with people most important to us, our parents, teachers, administrators, what we want to do with our lives. We want to know the safest way to achieve all our goals. We know that there will be positive outcomes throughout all that we do, but we must be aware that will be setbacks also. So we must learn how to persevere and push through those tough times to reach our goals. Sabemos que va a haber momentos buenos, pero no siempre va a ser así. Va a haber problemas, así que va a haber que perseverar por todo esto. Now, to achieve happiness, ¿cómo podemos ser felices? Es una pregunta que todos nos hacemos. How do we go about it? Well, a couple thousand years ago, a great teacher said these very wise words. There's more happiness in giving than receiving. Could it really be that easy? ¿Hay más felicidad en dar que en recibir? ¿Esa es la clave para ser feliz? Well, this is the subject that everybody seems to have a different opinion on how it can be attained. Many base this search on happiness on owning things. However, if we base ourselves on that, we will never be completely happy. How can I assure this? Well, let's pause and think a little bit. There will always be new technologies that will be coming out. It could be the newest phone, the brand new state-of-the-art TV, or that brand new car or truck. If this were the case, only rich people could be truly happy. But that is not the way lasting happiness is attained or reached. Listen to these words of wisdom that many of here present have heard from knowledgeable adults. We need to learn to be happy with what we have. Tienes que saber estar contento con lo que tienes. We are at that period in our lives where we are transitioning from being adolescents to adults. This is a part of our lives that can be compared to walking a tightrope. In each step we take, there is a feeling of being uncertain and even frightening. Some of our parents or mentors would like to spare us through the walk of life. Muchos de nuestros padres, nuestros familiares quisieran caminar la vida por nosotros, pero no es así, no lo pueden hacer. The truth of the matter is they can't walk life for us. However, they can be there for us, when we need guidance or help. Aunque no pueden caminar la vida por nosotros, sí pueden estar ahí para apoyarnos y darnos consejos cuando más no les necesitemos. They can be our balancing pole, if we say this, on the tightrope of life. As a balancing pole, they can help us stay on course and reach adulthood as responsible people. Now, many of our fellow classmates and I are thinking, like a friend of mine who said, well, at first I wasn't worried, but as I near graduation, I'm going out into the real world with real jobs, real bills, and real problems. Many of us think this through the past months and have been asking ourselves and trying to answer this question. Well, what will I do with my life? Well, let's imagine that we are going on a journey that's going to take us miles and miles away from home. Vamos a imaginarnos que vamos en un viaje que vamos a bien lejos de casa. ¿Qué va a ser lo primero que vas a hacer? What is the first thing you're going to do? Well, you're going to go and Google a map. What's the fastest way to get there? Va a ir al internet y va a buscar cuál es la mejor manera de llegar, la más fácil, la más rápida. You go on your phone, you Google it, but you also might Google the weather. What's the best restaurant, the cheapest price on gas? Quizás vaya y busque cuál es la gasolina más barata, la comida mejor que sirven, que está cerquita de mí. ¿Por qué hace eso? Why do we do this? Because we want to reach our destination safely, but we also want to enjoy our trip on the way there. Queremos llegar sanos y salvos, pero queremos disfrutar de nuestro viaje. Entonces, esto es algo similar a nuestro futuro. This is very similar to our future. In the coming years, each and every one of us here present will make important decisions regarding, well, one, higher education, employment, marital status, worship, and even having a family. Wiser choices will be easier to make if you know first where you are heading. So, whether we become doctors, lawyers, carpenters, or plumbers, we must find that balance in our lives to acquire lasting happiness. In closing, remember this proverb that will benefit us in the future as we put them to practice. A wise person will listen and take in more information. Una persona sabia, siempre va a escuchar y va a adquirir más información. So fellow classmates, let us make wise decisions. Let us listen and look for guidance and never forget our spiritual needs. Remember that for the last 18 years, despite of how many it had seemed at the time, the concern showed towards us by our loved ones have always been motivated by their love. Todas las preocupaciones de nuestros padres, de nuestros familiares que nos aman, siempre ha sido por amor. Siempre nos han empujado porque nos aman. Así que vamos a continuar aceptando la guía que ustedes nos ofrecen para poder sobresalir en la vida. So let us continue accepting guidance. That way, all of us may be successful in life. Before concluding, I would like to thank my parents, who without them I wouldn't be where I am right now. Gracias por todo lo que han hecho por mí. Along with them, I would like to thank all my teachers, Ms. Ramirez, all the counselors, Ms. Ramirez especially because it's been on all our backs trying to get our future straight. So I appreciate it. I didn't like it too much, but I appreciate it. Se lo agradecemos. También Mr. Zapata, que probably been the teacher for 50% of y'all out there. I want to thank you for 60 years and 40 years of teaching here in Pearsall. So, gracias, Mr. Zapp. También I would like to thank Mr. Alcala, who's always been on my back. All three of us, me, Steven, and Sol, the welding crew. He's always trying to get us to do work. Coach Zabza, who I would fight every day with, falling asleep right now, but appreciate his presence. Queremos agradecer todo. I would like to thank all of y'all for being in attendance, and on behalf of all of our classmates, thank you for being here. Gracias por estar aquí presentes en esta noche tan especial para nosotros. Gracias.
Thank you, Mr. Villarreal, for such an inspirational speech. Thank you. To the Board of Trustees, Superintendent Dr. Rodriguez, to our parents, faculty, and staff of this great school district, it is with great pride and honor I want to congratulate the class of 2017 for successfully completing an important milestone in your lives. That is, as a graduate of Pearsall High School. I have watched you grow from young boys and girls to mature young men and young ladies. I'm extremely proud of you, all of you. As you now continue your journey to college, serving your country through military, or joining the workforce, please know that there is a new path for your life. However, if you desire further assistance with your college and career decision over the next few months, our doors will remain open for college and career counseling. My students, you are now completely responsible and accountable to nobody except yourself. This responsibility you have earned as a Pearsall High School student graduate. This high school graduation is a time to celebrate, but also a time to reflect. You should reflect on your achievement and reflect on those people who have sacrificed to make this day possible for you. Who will you thank? Who will you remember during this time of celebration? Your mother, your father, grandparents, teachers, coaches, counselor, pastor, or your best friend. But please make sure you say thank you to them. You must reflect on the life lessons as a guide to make decisions that will impact your life. Life is going to present many challenges, but you will need to face these challenges with an insatiable thirst for knowledge. Knowledge is friend. Knowledge is power. Never stop learning, my friends. Be a student for life. Let me repeat it again. Be a student for life. In the words of one of the greatest teachers, Mr. Jaime Escalante, he stated, life is not about how many times you fall down, it's how many times you get back up. So stay focused, stay strong, and do your best for yourself, your family, and your community. Pearsall community needs young people to serve as a leader in the community. Leaders who decide to serve, leaders who decide to give back, and leaders who decide to reach out and bring someone else along. Finally, I want to reiterate the wisdom that our valedictorian, Mr. Victor Villarreal, has stated to us earlier. Whatever we want to achieve in life, we're all pursuing one thing, that is happiness. Therefore, on behalf of the Pearsall High School faculty and staff, it is our honor to be your teachers as well as your administrators. We wish you all the best in the years to come. Like we say in the Maverick country, we ask that you never forget. Once a Maverick. Once a Maverick. Once a Maverick. Mavericks for life. And please don't forget that. At this time, I would like to invite Dr. Norbert Rodriguez, Superintendent of Schools, to the podium, and he will certify the Pearsall High School class of 2017.
Thank you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Eloy Zapata was also my teacher. I personally think he looks too young for him to retire. He looks too young. One more, Zeph. Few more. Was the graduating class of 2017. Please stand. Members of the Board of Trustees, Mr. Varghese Panachakonil. Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to present to you the Pearsall High School graduating class of 2017. Each member of this class has completed all of the requirements for graduation as set forth by the Texas Education Agency and the Pearsall Independent School District, and are therefore entitled to graduate as class of 2017. Congratulations.
Thank you, Dr. Rodriguez. We will now proceed with the proclamation of our graduate candidates by the Pearsall Independent School District Board of Trustees, as the names are read by Mrs. Nancy Rodriguez and Ms. Victoria Wilborn. First row, will you please rise and come forward for your diplomas?
Victor Villarreal, valedictorian. Janisha Bimal Patel, salutatorian. Michelle Peralta. Marcos Agustin Revilla. Lisette Rodriguez. Kimberly Lorraine Rios. Ryan Elaine Rodriguez. Mariela Iris Morales. Miranda Elise Benavides. Joshua Hayes Pollock. Mariah Angelica Moreno. Andrea Gonzalez Rodriguez. Taylor Brianna Elizondo. Noah Shane Fletcher. Heather Miranda Aguilera. Rigoberto Treviño Arevalo. Felipe Arisa Jr. Ruby Arispe. Vicky Brittany Benavides. Cassandra Ray Benavides. Destiny Amor Cantu. Diana Cantu. Aliyah Alizé. Brandon Lee Carizales. Lionel Carizales. Eduardo Cavazos Jr. Hope Casey Chavera. Santiago Chavera IV. Alyssa Christine Chavez. Joe Anthony Vega Cruz. Andres Cuevas III. Baba Cuevas. Lauren E. De Leon. Rodriguez Elizondo. Beth Helen Elizondo. Eliseo Ramon Elizondo. Quay Embry. Antonio Esparza Jr. Melissa Espinosa Galvan. Devin Aaron Esquivel. Alyssa Chantel Fenton. Juan Flores. Matthew Isaac Gandara. Andrés Cándido García. Jesse Joe Garcia. Clarissa Garza. Isaac Gaitan. Yaniva Godinez. Elena Gonzalez. Moses Gonzalez Jr. Raven Nadine Gonzalez. Michael Gonzalez. Alyssa Danielle Gonzalez. Bernadette Romana Rendon Guerra. Reese Lorenzo Guerra. Ethan Hunter Gutierrez. Destiny Lynn Hernandez. Ruben Hernandez III.
Ricardo Ibarra III. Leslie Vasquez Jimenez. Owen Kirkendall. Davina Denise Leal. Destiny Leal. Jamie Arlene Leal. Rini Aaron Leal. Nayeli Leha Elizondo. Sanaida Marie Luna. Stephen Maldonado Jr. Marco Cristobal Martinez. Luis Eddie Martinez. Tomas Mata. Fatima Melendez Salazar. Heather Marie Mercado. Stephen Jeffrey Moore. Timmy G. Morales. Faith Lynn Nieto. Cabrina Eileen Nieto. Lorena Luz Obregon. Brittany Hope Ovalle. Ashley Kyle Pollock. Michael Peña. Lionel Joe Peralta Jr. Dylan Ryan Ramirez. Shelby Marie Ramirez. Catalina Julissa Ramon. Roberto Ramon III. Skyla Sabrine Ramos. John D. Reyes. Peter Andrew Reyes Jr. Trey Anthony Reyes. Angela Marie Rivera. John Daniel Rodriguez. Juan Daniel Rodriguez. Cassandra Genevieve Rodriguez. Sol Angel Rodriguez. Nicholas Ronald Rucker Jr. Elisa Hortensia Salais. Melissa Mercedes Salais. Mallory Angelique Salazar. Damian Sabas Santos. Benjamin Abel Stewart. Ziegler. Inemencio Andy Tiarina. Laura Jean Tolson. Alyssa Nicole Torres. J.R. Torres. Asadia Rebecca Bueno. Jose Benito J.B. Trevino. Molly Louise Trevino. Patricia Alondra Ubiarco. Jonathan Valenzuela. Brandon Lee Vasquez. Derek Ray Vasquez. Jaime Vasquez III. Ricardo Vasquez. Connie Michelle Viesca. Chastity Ariel Vinton. And last but not least, Tzaitza Janice Angela Yanes.
Congratulations, graduates. Now, Pearsall High School 2017 Class President, Mr. Benjamin Stewart, will you come forward and preside over the turning of the tassel to confirm our candidates as graduates.
Okay, cool. So for some reason, the counselors think I'm going to try and say something inappropriate. But really what I want to let you guys know is that, wow, it's crazy that the past 12 years, we've all been in school together for the most part. We've got a few newcomers, but we've all been together. Good times, bad times, victories, arguments, and it's just really crazy to see it all come to an end now. We spent so much time writing this last chapter of our lives together, and it just seems fitting that we turn this tassel and turn the page to the next chapter of our lives together as well. So, seniors, will you please stand? As a symbol of the transition into the next chapter of our lives, please move your tassel from the right side to the left side. Congrats, guys. Good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, I present to you the Pearsall High School graduating class of 2017. Senior band members, please join the band for the school song. The lyrics of the songs are in your program. Parents and audience, please remain in the stands. We still have the school song. Please give us a few minutes. So let's, the program has not ended. Please give us a few minutes. Thank you. Graduates and members of the audience, please stand by for the recitals. Congratulations to the class of graduating class of 27. Thank you for your attendance and support for this evening. Have a safe weekend. Thank you.
Big bucket.